So that was the first 5 top tips about how we set our camera to get a well exposed image. So top tip number 1 was be intimate with the exposure triangle. Understand how your ISO, your shutter speed and your aperture work to balance and give a well exposed image. Top tip number 2 was keep your ISO low. This will ensure that you get a higher quality image. Top tip number 3, set your shutter speed. The shutter speed controls how long the sensor is exposed to light. It can also control whether motion in the image is blurred or frozen, and can also help you avoid camera shake if you set it correctly. Top tip number 4 was open your aperture. The aperture in the lens controls how much light enters the camera, much like the iris in our eye. The aperture setting also affects how much of the photograph is in focus. Top tip number 5, read the light. Understand how the exposure meter works and learn to use it to help you balance the ISO, the shutter speed and the aperture to get a well exposed image every time. Understanding the exposure triangle and using the exposure meter as a guide to set each of the 3 controls, you will be able to make well exposed images and be more creative with your camera.